Most men get this backwards. The more you chase, the faster she runs. If that stings, good, you're about to find out why giving her everything is the same as giving her nothing. All right, let's cut through the polite nonsense. For years you were taught to show more texts, more favors, more compliments. Flip that script. This video breaks down in plain terms why ignoring a woman, when done right, actually raises your value, how it taps into the darker wiring of desire, and, most important, how to use the art without becoming a jerk. Let's go. 1. The brutal truth. Attention is a currency. Let's start with something most men don't want to hear. Your attention isn't free. It feels free, right? Sending a text, liking her photo, asking how her day was. It feels like nothing. But in reality, attention is a currency. And like money, the more you flood it into circulation, the less valuable it becomes. That's why most men lose attraction without even realizing. Think about money for a second. When a country prints too much, inflation hits. The notes are still there, but they buy less. Now compare that to how you handle women. If you're always available, always texting, always chasing, you're basically printing bills non-stop. At first, she might enjoy the praise, but after a while, it loses flavor. Too much of anything kills its value. I knew this one guy. Let's call him Raj. He was into a girl at work, and he thought effort was the golden ticket. He bought her coffee every morning, carried her files, asked about her weekend. She thanked him, but the spark never showed up. She treated him like background noise. Meanwhile, another man in the same office barely gave her extra time. He was polite, respectful, but not chasing. Guess which one she kept glancing at during meetings? The guy who wasn't pouring his attention all over her. The dark psychology here is simple. Humans crave what feels limited. Scarcity drives desire. Abundance breeds boredom. Women aren't exceptions. They're human beings wired the same way. So when you hand out attention like it costs nothing, she treats it exactly that way, like it's worth nothing. 2. Scarcity flips the focus, from you chasing to her wondering. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you stop feeding her constant validation, her brain starts doing something powerful. It fills in the gaps. Humans can't stand uncertainty. We obsess over missing pieces. That's why you find yourself replaying conversations with someone who didn't reply. That's why silence keeps you awake at night, not noise. A friend of mine had this experience with a girl he was seeing. He used to text her non-stop. She replied, but it was always dry, like she was doing him a favor. One week, he got busy with his own life. Gym, side hustle, hanging out with his boys. He didn't text her as much. Guess what? Suddenly she was the one asking, "Hey, are you okay? Why didn't you text today?" That shift wasn't magic. It was scarcity. When you're predictable, you're boring. When you step back, she starts wondering. That wondering turns into curiosity, and curiosity is addictive. She starts asking herself, where is he? Who is he with? Why hasn't he messaged? That's when the balance flips. Instead of you chasing, she begins to lean in. And it wasn't because you pulled some cruel trick. It was because you gave her space to think about you. 3. Ignoring cruelty. It's discipline. A lot of guys get this wrong. They hear ignore her and think it means go cold, be rude, disappear. That's not strength. That's bitterness disguised as strategy. Real ignoring is not about cruelty. It's about discipline. Discipline looks like this. You don't respond instantly to every random text because you're busy with your life. You don't rearrange your entire schedule just because she's free on a whim. You don't let your phone control you. That's not being a jerk. It's being a man with priorities. Here's where many men fail. They either give everything away or shut down completely. Both are weak. The balance is where the real art lives. Think of it like training a muscle. Discipline is not starving yourself, it's controlling how much you eat and when. The same goes with attention. Too much, and you weaken yourself. None at all, and you kill connection. The middle ground is mastery. And let's clear this up. Respect is the anchor. If you ignore a woman just to punish her, you're insecure. If you hold back attention because you value your time, you're disciplined. See the difference? Stoicism teaches self-control, not cruelty. The art of ignoring is rooted in that same philosophy. 4. The contrast effect. Why standing still wins. Here's a simple truth. Humans compare. We notice differences, not sameness. That's why the guy who ignores her with dignity shines brighter than the one drowning her with attention. Let me paint a picture. At a party, there are two men. One hovers around her, laughing at every joke, offering her drinks, trying too hard. The other, calm, relaxed, having conversations with others, not rushing to orbit her every move. Guess who sticks in her memory after the party ends? Not the over-eager puppy. It's the calm, grounded man who made her wonder, why isn't he trying as hard as the others? That's the contrast effect. When every other man is fighting for her attention, the one who doesn't becomes magnetic. Not because he's playing some childish game, but because he values himself. And women notice that difference. It creates curiosity. This is why ignoring works. It makes you stand out without doing anything flashy. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply to not move. 5. Where men screw it up, so you don't. Let's be honest, most men don't mess this up because they don't know better. They mess it up because they lack self-control. Here are the 4 big mistakes. Overgiving. You think more effort. Fetch more love. Wrong. It often just shows you're needy. Ghosting completely. You vanish and think silence will make her crawl back. Usually she just shrugs and moves on. Being inconsistent, random attention is confusing. You don't look mysterious, you look unstable. Using silence as a weapon. If you ignore her to punish her, you're just emotionally immature. Now the fix is simple but not easy. Control. Don't chase, but don't disappear. Give measured attention with intention. Respond with purpose, not impulse. And above all, stay rooted in your life. Gym, work, hobbies, family, those are your anchors. The stronger your own world is, the less you'll feel the need to overgive. 6. How to do it. Practical steps that actually work. Okay, let's get real. Ignoring isn't about playing ghost, it's about creating space. Here's how to do it in real life. Stop sending autopilot texts. No more routine good morning messages every day. If you want to say something, make it meaningful. Respond with purpose. If she texts something casual, you don't need to reply instantly. Live your life. Answer when you've got something real to say. Build your own life. When you're genuinely busy, gym, side projects, catching up with friends, you naturally create scarcity. That scarcity makes your attention valuable without you even trying. Be present when it counts. If she's struggling, show up. If it's important, answer. Ignoring doesn't mean neglect, it means discipline. Test the waters. If she fades the moment you stop overgiving, you have your answer. She wasn't into you, she was into the attention. Painful truth, but clarity is better than illusion. When you do this, you stop being another man orbiting around her. You start being the man she orbits around. That's the shift. That's the art. So here's the truth you probably didn't expect. Ignoring a woman isn't really about her at all. It's about you, about your discipline, about your ability to control the one thing most men give away like it's free candy: attention. Men lose not because women are too complicated, but because men refuse to control themselves. They think love means chasing. They think respect means overgiving. And then they wonder why the attraction dies. The art of ignoring is not some childish trick. It's a mirror. It shows you how much you value yourself. Because if you can't protect your time, your energy, your focus, you'll give it all away to anyone who asks. And nothing that's given without limits is ever respected. Here's what I want you to take from this. Attention is your most powerful asset. It's rarer than money, stronger than words, and once you lose control of it, you lose control of everything. Ignore wisely, and you create mystery, tension, and respect. Ignore foolishly, and you just look bitter. The difference is discipline. The difference is knowing when to show up and when to step back. And let me leave you with this final thought. Women don't fall for men who give them everything. They fall for men who have something bigger going on, a mission, a life, a purpose beyond just chasing validation. That's where Stoicism comes in, the power of standing still, the strength of being unshaken, the calmness of a man who doesn't need anyone to complete him. So the next time you feel that urge to flood her phone, stop. Ask yourself, am I doing this because she's earned it, or because I can't sit with myself? If it's the second, pull back, breathe, live your life. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder. Because sometimes silence is louder than any word you could ever say. This isn't about playing games. This is about rewriting how you carry yourself as a man. Ignore not to punish her, but to protect you. Because the man who controls his attention controls everything. If you got value from this, hit that like button and subscribe to Behavior Insight for more psychology and stoicism that cuts through the noise. Drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever pulled back and watched her chase? Or have you ever given too much and lost her interest? Share your story. I read every comment and I want to hear yours. Respect yourself first. The rest will follow.